It's about 6:25 a.m. here on Thursday, September 7th, 2023. I'm on my way up the last stretches of the Maroon Creek Road. I'm on my way to the Maroon Lake trailhead. I'm going to try to climb South Maroon Peak this morning. And pretty soon you can see the peaks just ahead. Right up there. Maroon Peak, along with its sub-peak, North Maroon, are some of the most well-known, most viewed, and most picturesque mountains in Colorado, or anywhere. The two are known together as the Maroon Bells due to the red-colored sedimentary rock that comprises them, and because their overall shapes resemble bells. Plus, their many layers and ledges seem to impart a kind of kinetic appearance to them, as if they're in the midst of ringing. This picture shows the peaks in their most iconic and familiar pose from Maroon Lake to their northeast, with North Maroon on the right and Maroon itself, or South Maroon as it's often called, on the left. This view was taken from a little ways along the lower approach hike, and this closer one is from Crater Lake, also to the northeast. Here, this even closer view of just Maroon Peak is seen from about 13,300 feet on the mountain's south ridge. This distant view of both peaks from the east was taken from Mount Massive, and this one from even farther east was taken from Quandary Peak. Here, they can be seen from Mount of the Holy Cross to the northeast. Both the Hayden and Wheeler survey teams explored and mapped this area along with the rest of the Elk Range in 1873 and 1874 respectively, but neither attempted an ascent of the precipitous peaks themselves. John Stevenson of the Wheeler survey wrote the following as part of a description of them. The crest of this exceedingly narrow ridge resembles a line of ancient castles. Indeed, standing in any of the enormous cavities under this ridge, from which issue the many streams which form the roaring fork, one needs little power of imagination to conceive himself within the ruins of some majestic cathedral whose towers, surmounting the massive walls, still remain to attest its pristine splendor. This image of the peaks, taken from Elk Range 14 or Castle Peak to the southeast, with Maroon on the left and North Maroon on the right, reveals something of what he was talking about. As does this one, taken from 14 or Capitol Peak to the northwest, with the positions of the peaks reversed. The Hayden survey considered the massif as one high peak rather than two, and named it Maroon Mountain. It was only later that it was changed to Maroon Peak, and the prominent sub-peak was dubbed North Maroon Peak. The first recorded ascent of North Maroon was made by Colorado mountaineers Percy Hagerman and Harold Clark in August of 1908. 3 days later, Hagerman would make the first known ascent of Maroon itself by way of the South Ridge route. This duo also registered the first climbs of other treacherous Elk Range mountains, including 14ers Capitol Peak and Pyramid Peak. Maroon Peak is one of the most dangerous and difficult 14ers to climb, presenting just about as much of a challenge and a hazard as it does a scenic experience. The rock is loose, rockfall potential abounds, the route finding is complex, and the climbing challenges rise to at least the Class 3 level. In addition, although the endurance stats are mid-level on paper, the grueling and unrelenting nature of the upper approach in particular make this a bit deceiving. Also, the difficulties on the upper part of the mountain will significantly extend the time needed to complete the route. But if you are able and willing to meet these challenges, you're sure to be in for a sublimely rewarding experience in this perilous and wondrous range. These are the directions to reach the Maroon Lake trailhead. Do keep in mind that as of this video, there is a parking reservation and permit system in place, so be sure to make the necessary arrangements beforehand. Anyway, enjoy the footage. It's about 6:35 a.m. I am headed away from the Maroon Lake trailhead, and I want to stay towards Crater Lake, so I'm going to go take the path straight ahead. So I'm passing by Maroon Lake right now. You can see the Maroon Peaks up ahead there. And from here to Crater Lake, it's going to be about 1 3/4 miles roughly in an overall southwest direction. And to climb Maroon Peak today, it's kind of mid-range endurance stats. I think about 11 miles round trip. About 4,800 feet of elevation gain, but as you probably know, the key to this mountain is the climbing difficulty. Some complicated class 3 loose terrain and route finding on this mountain, so that's the key to this. Anyways, my way to Crater Lake right now. Coming up to the other end of the lake. You don't want to go on that scenic path over there. I'm going to stay towards Crater Lake. So I'm on this kind of gently ascending path from Maroon Lake to Crater Lake. The Maroon Lake trailhead is about 9,600 feet. Crater Lake's at about 10,100. So path has picked up on the ascent a little more now. You only gain about 500 feet in elevation between the two lakes in the course of the roughly 1 3/4 miles stretch of path between them. The sun and the Maroon Peaks up there. Across a little bit of talus here. Couple switchbacks here. So after a more tapering off of the ascent on this initial path, actually going down just a little bit now. So coming up here to this sign at this junction here, I think I'm not far from Crater Lake, but right here, in order to head to Crater Lake and towards the South Maroon Trail, I want to go left here. And don't go to the campsites, go to the West Maroon Trail. And there's a lake right there. So I've reached Crater Lake here at about 10,100 feet or so. You see it's very, very low. There's a look up at the peaks. Once again, North Maroon and Maroon itself. So I'm continuing around the north side of Crater Lake on this trail, and I have been going in an overall southwest direction up to this point, all the way from Maroon Lake. But once I get past this lake, I'm going to be on a more directly south heading, and I think from here to the next trail junction, which will be with the actual Maroon Peak trail from here to there, is about just under 2 miles and only another several hundred feet of elevation gain. Heading through a section of changing color willows here. Bridge over a dry creek. And just after that last crossing, I come across this area of talus here. I'm kind of emerging out of those stretches of ground vegetation back there, coming up on this larger talus field here. Go across that. Also, I'm gaining a little more elevation here on this stretch at this point. Back down at Crater Lake. Going down a little bit again. I'm up here now at about 10,300 feet, not far from the path junction. First I've got to go across this largest talus field yet. Looks like just along the bottom of that. Really, I haven't had to negotiate much of this talus at all. It's mostly above me. Rockier now. West Maroon Creek flowing down there. I'm continuing southward on this path, and right here it kind of comes up all of a sudden. It's not signed or anything, although it's cairned. I'm going to take this path to the right, and I'm at about 10,450 feet now. I'm going to start on this path to the right up towards South Maroon, and now I'm going to be heading more in an overall west direction, and it's going to start getting real. I've only gained about maybe 800 or 900 feet in net elevation, so now it's going to get a lot steeper. Yeah, like I said, going to get a lot steeper. Kind of switch back in up the initial phase of the east slopes of the mountain here. I'm temporarily on a south directed, more gentle segment of contour here. So after that, now I'm gaining elevation steeply again. Now up this kind of zigzaggy, loose rocks here. Yeah, this is a steep stretch here, definitely. You can see the steepness of this part of the approach hike, which is also fairly loose. Well, now the path has become more stable and a little less steep. Still pretty steep though. I think I've begun to angle now more kind of toward the southwest, and I'm about to enter into more cliffy areas up there, more rocky terrain. Across this gully here. And the sun has come up from behind the mountain to the east there. I'm continuing up the east slopes toward the south ridge. South ridge up there. I'm guessing that roughly 11.5 or so right here. Still pretty steep. I'm still going basically in a west direction. Kind of been alongside on the left of this gully for a while now. Continuing up this steep zigzaggy path. Kind of loose, but not too bad on this stretch. Maybe at about 11.6 or something. I've begun to angle, I believe, to the southwest and away from that gully. And I'm gonna be heading pretty quickly, more seriously here, into more cliffy, rocky terrain up there. difficult as I've gotten higher into these rocks. Through stuff like that. And then in addition to that, I think the path, which up till now has been fairly straightforward to follow, may become a little more difficult to follow. Like, might be tempting to go off that direction right here, but as far as I can tell, I need to head off and up this way. And like right here, it's a little uncertain when you might go off to the left that way. It looks to me like the path goes to the right here. I'm going to try that. See how that works out. Yeah, the other way would have led me up to this same position. It looks like on this stretch the path basically coincides with this small gully. And now I've kind of doubled back over to this adjacent gully, and it looks like the path is kind of going up part of that over here. And like I said, the path has become more of a challenge to follow, but keep your eye out. It's not too bad, at least not yet. It is, however, pretty steep and loose dirt. Now another one of these points of uncertainty here. Looks like a worn path through those rocks on the left there. And also the path up to the right. I think I'm going to try this right one for now, tentatively, and see how that goes. Well, that seemed to work out fine. I don't think it would have mattered, but continue on up. So this path has been not all that well cairned so far, although, as I say, it's been reasonable to discern. And with certain maybe fallen piles of rock that could be considered cairns or were once cairns, but there's a sizable one right there for a change. A little cliff that we can go up right here. Interesting. I don't think I've ever necessarily been up a approach hike that's been any more relentlessly grueling than this one. There's looking all the way back down there toward the creek. And believe it or not, now made it all the way up here to about 12,900 feet. And I'm going to now veer toward the northwest. Have been going southwest, going to go toward the northwest and up this lesser ridge. And I'm going to gain a few hundred more vertical feet up this. And that is going to intersect with the actual main south ridge up here a little farther. higher on this lesser ridge and get into this, more into this talus, and path's a little harder to discern. Looks like you could go up to the left there or off to the right. I don't know. I think I'm going to try the left here. It looks like it's more direct. I don't want to get stray off that direction too much, so let's give this a shot right now. Seems to be the right choice. Alright, I'm coming up through the small notch at the end of the lesser ridge. And that's the view. How do you like that? It's pretty gnarly, huh? Now, I'm going to have some snacks and some water and then recontemplate this. A lot of mountain climbs involve that moment of reckoning when you reach the beginning of the upper reaches and survey the often daunting appearance of what remains. Having already taken about 3.5 hours to reach this point, here you can see a glimpse of what I was in for on the final stretch of this mountain. If it looks difficult, it is. About 3.5 hours to get up to this point. It's a little after 10, so we'll get started on this. chimney that you have to climb up. Looks like I continue around left right here. See a pretty discernible path. I hope it's not windy for the rest of this. That's a little aggravating. So Karen. Alright, I think this right here, I think is the chimney that can go up. Looks kind of interesting. Solid. Some of these little ledges have some gravel on them. The main body of the rock itself seems fairly stable. Try around up to the on this right part of it here. I can maneuver onto this platform here, and then step right here. Let me get over these chalk stones. Back down at that. Okay, what next? Alright, so made it up that chimney and then that second little groove. Now I believe it's going to be a little bit easier terrain for a few minutes here. It's supposed to go around here under that notch and then kind of traverse up toward the stripe of whitish rock you can see in the distance up there. And I'm just going to try to look for the cairn path marking the beaten path. See some cairns way up there. Good to see those from a ways off. It set me on the right course now. Kind of go up these gravel covered ledges here. Careful. Not too bad. Yeah, I'm going to opt to step up onto this. Near this point, the next stage comes into view, which is the option of ascending one of two adjacent gullies, both of which are shown here. As I approached this area, I unknowingly passed by the entry to the first gully. Then when I got to the second one, I thought it was the first one. Down this way. Take a quick break and assess. Alright, continuing on this pretty easy traverse section along the west side of the ridge. And that could be the first one. I don't know. Let me go up this talus. That could be the first one. And if so, I might follow this path over to the left and see if it leads to the second one. And if so, I may check that out, see if I like it better than the first one. Sure here. Like I said, I had already passed by the entrance to the first gully, and here I was continuing to traverse past even the second gully. What you see here, and what I actually ended up ascending, I believe, was a kind of side gully well to the left of the second gully, which eventually angled up into the second gully. And I think this may have been actually a more preferable ascent to this stretch. Okay, this may be the second gully. And if so, I think I may just go up this since I'm already here. And I think what I understand is you go about halfway up this or the other gully and then exit it to the left onto some ledges, and hopefully it'll be evident where that is once I get there. I'll look for any indication of that. Let's start up this thing. It's not incredibly steep so far. You got loose sand and gravel. Have to look out for. There seem to be reasonably solid places. Foot and hand placements though. Farther. Okay. All right. I think maybe what I did, I think on the other side of this rib is the first gully, and maybe this is the second gully. I may have come up that side of the second gully, and this may be it. And I think in that case I need to go the rest of the way up this until I find a ledge that goes to the left toward the rest of the route. This stuff looks pretty nasty looseness. Got some solid rock on the side to grab onto though. this may be the aforementioned ledge that I want to go to the left and take. My understanding is you go along this and come up to this distinctive looking rock around this corner, hopefully. Check that out. I think that protruding rock up there is where I want to be, and looks like I got to have a little ways to get up to it. Continue around here. Should have come initially. Well, I know eventually I need to work my way over this way. Let's try this. See a sizable cairn around that corner. Rock there. Go up to that. So I'm continuing to kind of contour around following that. All right, there's the direction I'm coming from, just after that distinctive slab that you're looking at right there. It's a wider top than it does a bottom, and my understanding is I come around, continue to contour around this corner here, and then I'm getting to this broad gully here, and I need to ascend up it, I think to the top of it, where I will get to a notch, and then change course after that. Now I'll be interested to see up here whether I go on the near side of this slab in the middle or on the other side of it. Hopefully there's some indications. I mean, it might not matter, but then again it might, so let's see. That looks pretty rugged. Yeah. If this part over here is wider open than that, then I'm going to say it's probably this far side over here. Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like the path continues on around over to here. Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty open. See some cairns in it here already. Looks like I'm on the right track. Looks pretty arduous though. Loose sand. Actually fairly serene up here. Kind of didn't expect that based on that wind I encountered when I first got up to the ridge. Pretty nice though. Calm. Whew. Damn. Time for a little water break. Alright, I got a little ways to go up this upper gully still. There's no single obvious path. There's just a bunch of network of kind of loose dirt paths up this thing. I guess you just kind of choose the least obnoxious one and go over that. Tackle the last stretch of this gully. Looks like we start traversing out of the gully before you reach the top of it there, because I see that cairn there, one over there, in a path along that ledge. But I want to go to the top just to see what things look like from the top of this momentarily. 3 if I'm not mistaken, and some rocks over here. And I've just come up the upper part of that gully that separates the two. Coming down from that notch at the top of the gully back to the rest of the route here. You need to go either onto this ledge here at this cairn right here, and work my way over. I need to go all the way over there. Yeah, I think I might be too high up right here. Further. Down too low, actually. I don't see any markers along here. I think I'm going to go back and reassess. Oh yeah, I need to be up higher. I'm back to the point where I may have messed up, and the only way to get up higher is to try to get up this. And I do see some cairns up higher in the distance, so yeah, I think rather than try to climb up that little block stretch over there ahead of me, I think I'm going to try to make my way up this and then turn right just before that cairn right there. Let's see how that works out. ledge area, kind of rounded this corner. So I've just rounded this corner that I mentioned after that stretch of ledges. And I think after you pass under this short band of cliffs right here, you begin to make your way up into that complicated mess of rocks up in there. Right, and I think that you kind of go up the right side, and then when you get towards the top of what you can see up there, and then you kind of make your way over toward the left. And I think I'm just going to try to go up the right side and try to follow whatever markers I can see along the way to help me. Let's see what's around here. Maybe around here. There's a cairn up there. Get back over here a little bit. Now I'm finding what seem to be some rudimentary sections of path and some markers along the way. So hopefully this is serving me okay. Yeah. Alright, so there's some markers right here, and right there, and up there. But I see a large marker way over there. I don't know if you can see it in this footage, but it's way over there. And it's almost level with where I am now, so I'm thinking that I need to maybe go up just a little bit farther and then start traversing over to the left. Hard to tell which of these levels here to try to traverse. I feel like that wider space down there might be a little bit too low. By the time I get to the end of that, I might be faced with some difficult upward maneuvers. I could try this level way up here. It's narrower, but it might get me to the right destination. Let me try to get up to it here. Ledges here are full of loose rock, loose gravel. Pretty precarious. Yeah. I don't necessarily think I want to try to traverse across that. It looks too narrow and loose. I think I'm going to go back down and try my luck with that lower level, lower wide level. And I give this a shot. See, I wonder where that large cairn is that I saw from way back there. Need to find that. See what's up here. There we go. You can see the foot placements here and the gravel on there. Okay, from this point here, after having rounded that corner, to find the best way up to the ridge crest. From there, just traverse that over to the summit. So I think I'm just going to start heading on up the rest of the way to find the ridge crest. And yeah, I think I'm at about 13.9 right now. I only got about maybe 250 feet vertically left to go. There's a pathway over here. Okay. So I'm not going up just yet. Okay, I kind of got off route there. Now I see this marker here, and these up here, kind of taking me up more to the right for a minute. Well, there's probably a more direct way, but I'm just kind of following this zigzaggy path upward. I think I'm going to try to go more directly up this way. I don't like that over there. I think I'm going to try to the left of this big rock here. It looks interesting, but I don't know. Could be around here. Well, I don't know. You know, at this point I'm so close. I think I'm just going to kind of pick my poison. This way. There's a sizable marker. Directly that way or go around this way. Yeah, hell, well, let's go up this way. Yeah. So I'll step down a little bit, go over to that other marker. It seems like this never ends. Okay. I don't want to go around there. I think I'm just going to go directly up this part. This actually looks pretty pliant. Try that. Don't know about this on the way down, but yeah, here we go. Double back this way. Okay. Getting close. Reach the ridge crest. Yeah, look at that. Looks like around to the left. Should I try going directly up or see what's around that corner? Nah, don't think so. Go right up. This line right here. Maybe a series of plant ledges here. Made it to the top of Maroon Peak. I'm going to be genuine. That was one of the hardest mountains I've ever climbed. Between the steepness, the looseness, the route finding. Yeah, that was tough. A little after 1 p.m. I've begun descending off of Maroon Peak. And this is not a descent I'm looking forward to, given how complicated and loose and steep the ascent was. I just hope I can find my way back down this without any major foul ups. I don't expect to go down the exact same way I came up. I just hope I can follow the general path adequately and go down stuff like this. And so far so good, I think. See that path down there? It's about right here to the left of this rock here that I'm going to go more directly down. Careful coming down, you don't want to go down that gully here. You want to stay more over to the left. See that sizable cairn down there? I need to get to that. Either go all the way around that crap again, or just go down this pitch. I don't remember if I came up this pitch, but I'm going to try to go down it face inward. Oh boy. Yeah, there we go. Alright. There's that cairn I just mentioned. I think the next stage is that I need to get back down to the notch where the upper gully starts somehow. So, coming down the looseness of the upper gully now. It should be pretty straightforward actually. So, reaching the exit point of the upper gully. If you recall, it was to the left of this rock formation here. So at this point I'm going to exit the gully. Try to make my way back down the remainder of the route. So far so good. So after exiting the gully to the left, you kind of go up this ramp that I went down on the ascent. And here we are at this distinctly shaped rock again that figures into this route. So, just after that, I've arrived at the entry point on the descent for these upper two gullies, this being the second of the two, and I think I'm just going to choose to descend the second of the two, and hopefully the proper exit point lower down will be evident. I think it will be. And now we've gotten across the second gully. Now to traverse back over this way. See that cairn up there? Now coming along some of these loose ledges after that conspicuous cairn I just showed you, and you need to traverse across these, and then I don't know if you can see that really big cairn where you go go down this and then up to the next protrusion over there. There's a big cairn. I need to get to that. Alright, coming back to the notch. This stretch is involved. Down climbing, you got some more pitches. I don't know if you remember this ledgy part. This was kind of nifty here. Gullies up higher there. You come over here, come down this chute that you see right here, which is also has loose rock. Another rock hazard. We try to stay on this side where there's more solid rocks. Dislodge it. The next stage is to get to that sort of notch over there where you see that dirt path going up there. Now right here is the previously mentioned point. Continuing to traverse up this path. Coming around the next corner. Two key points at the beginning. First, we have this drop down with the chockstones in it. I can front down climb this okay. Actually, back down climbing, I should say. Forward. All right, good. See the looseness again on this upper approach hike, and this is much more hazardous on the way down. I'll tell you that. stuff like this on the descent. It's lovely. Well, I know I have 3 to 4 miles left to walk back to the trailhead, but I gotta tell you, I am so relieved to be getting back to the lower approach hike. That upper approach hike is unrelentingly, brutally steep. And on the way down and also on the way up. So yeah, I'm glad to be back to this path, I'll tell you that. So it took me close to 11 hours to complete the entire round-trip route, with I believe about 5:45 of that to reach the top and nearly 2 hours for the ascent of the final South Ridge stretch. Maroon Peak was undoubtedly, objectively speaking, one of the very hardest mountains I've ever climbed. It's definitely in my top few, and I'd say likely even in my top 2. It was one of the most, perhaps the most, route-finding intensive standard route I've ever climbed on a peak. A big saving grace of it, though, is that it's pretty well marked. It does help to look for and see some of the markers from a distance, particularly on the high ledge traverse sections. And, as I mentioned, despite the stats on paper, this mountain was quite arduous. The upper approach hike up the east slopes was probably the most exhausting part of the day, and one of the most long and relentlessly grueling approaches I've ever done. This probably owed partly to how little elevation is gained on the lower approach. It also seemed to take forever to descend. As far as the considerable climbing challenges go, I would say the hardest parts were the lower gully, the ledgy stretches just above the upper gully, and maybe the area just prior to gaining the summit ridge. Given, among other things, these various hazards, these mountains have unfortunately been the scene of numerous fatalities over the decades, earning them the name the Deadly Bells. Once you reach the notch at 13,250 feet, continue only if the weather and your own status are in order. Overall, make sure to come prepared mentally, physically, educationally, materially, and logistically, lest the bells toll for thee. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next mountain.